Okay, there is no single person in this world that should be eating sugar. Sugar is a poison.
What a dog, eh? What a dog. What a good boy. There you go, folks. Good morning. It's coffee time. It's my go-to every morning, coffee with cream. And that pretty much sees me right through to the end of the day. And I have already got a wee fly in there. Check that out. Ah, well. Bit of protein with your cream's okay. Anyway, this room that I'm standing here in front of is my new old bedroom. So the room here, this part here, that's where we used to always have talks and coffees and catch up with people when they came to the old farmhouse. I'll turn around, it was that room there. And then this room here on this side is where my old bedroom was, which was pretty shit, to be honest. So my mate Arb is fixing the whole lot up. But this video today is not about that. This video is about the conversation that went on in that square there with Dr Glyn Davies from the Taupo Medical Centre a few months ago. And I recorded it and I never made it into a video, and I've always wanted to, and I've decided to. Dr Glyn Davies from the Taupo Medical Centre was invited by the DHB here in Nelson to come down and talk about nutrition and such. Now, every hospital has a dietitian and they decide what goes on the menu for all the patients in the hospitals. He has had a 100% success rate with all his patients using the ketogenic diet. That's a pretty big thing. So as I walk around leading you into what this video is going to be, I've said a few things over the last year or two of being on the keto diet, but you know, I'm really not qualified, as I'm just not a doctor or dietitian or anything. I'm just a person like you that's trying to find the best for their health by going to Google or going searching or asking people or talking to people. But in the last year, there's been close to 100 different men that I have given the suggestion to try the keto diet, and every single one of them has come back with great reports for their health. Peter Prue, hey Pete, if you're watching this, who could no longer do all the mountaineering and climbing and going down the west coast and staying in the bush like he used to because his joints gave him so much pain, had to give it up. Now he's doing it again and enjoying it with his son and going out and having a great time. Selwyn, my biggest supporter, a fisherman who's lost over, I think, 15 kilograms now. I actually didn't recognise him in his last photo he sent me because I thought it was a young guy he had. It was a hunting photo with him and a wild pig, and I thought he'd taken a young guy to help him carry the pig out. That's how much it changed him. So many stories like that of people's lives being made better and feeling better. Brian Lewis, who had a 5 bypass, he's an incredible musician that works on some of my music, is now on the keto diet, has lost so much weight and looks so much better. So this talk is not me talking about it today, and it's not going on about the success that other people have had. It's a talk with Dr Glyn Davies. This is my mate Glyn. We've known each other for quite a few years. We're old flatmates, and we both share one thing in common. We both practice the ketogenic diet. So what sort of GP are you exactly? How would you describe yourself?
So I used to be a pretty standard general practitioner. I was pretty involved in the pharmaceutical model of medicine. By that I mean you sit down with someone, you take a history, you examine them, you come up with a diagnosis. Yep. And then for some strange reason we go, what medicine are we going to prescribe for this? And that was just normal to me. But now that I've understood about the incredible power of a appropriate diet, that seems crazy to me. I'm going, why do you go, I've made a lifestyle, or the disease that we're seeing is a lifestyle disease. Yep. Why would you go, now I'm going to prescribe a medicine for that? That's just craziness. Now I prescribe diet and exercise.
Okay, cool. So the ketogenic diet, a lot of people say, oh, it's just a fad diet, you know, it's like another one's come along.
Oh, don't say that to me, I'll get really angry. Okay, if we want to talk about fads, let's talk about the last 40 years. That's been the fad. You go right back to the very, very beginning of time. You take the first cavemen. Yep. Imagine them living between the ice ages in South Africa. They lived on the coast. Yep. they ate mainly seafood, kai moana,
Mhm.
and they hunted animals,
Yep.
and that was predominantly what they ate. And that's basically the way that we've lived all the way until 1980. You can just
Right.
about pinpoint the day in 1980 where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for the last 40 years, we've done this crazy experiment with this unscientific diet called the low-fat diet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a
Yeah.
tsunami of diabetes, and there's an explosion of obesity, and you can date it back to 1980. So the
Isn't that interesting?
fad is the last 40 years. So if someone starts saying to me that the ketogenic diet is a fad, then I'm going to get really cross with them because the fad is the low-fat diet,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's been an experiment that's gone
Wrong.
so wrong. Like, not just a little bit wrong. You know, how have we got to the point where 2/3, 67% of the adult population of New Zealand, and you can apply that to most Western countries,
Yep.
is overweight or obese, but even worse, 1/3 of children are overweight or
Going
obese.
on up, mate.
And-
Going on up. Yeah.
And it's because it actually started in 1977,
Right.
but the impact of that change took about 3 days. Oh, sorry, not 3 days, 3 years.
Yep.
And then 1980, that's when the graph goes along like this. Like, there were a few. If you look back at a class photo for from 1930,
Yep.
you might see a couple of overweight people.
Yeah.
You know, like a university photo or even a school. You might see one or two. Now the skinny kids are unusual, aren't they? You can pick out the skinny kids and you start wondering if there's something wrong with them. you
Yeah.
know? Okay, and
Isn't that
that change occurred in 1980, and in 1977,
Yep.
the American guidelines for nutrition were invented,
Right.
and then 3 years later you saw this change, and the graph goes like that.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me about fads; I'll get really angry.
Okay, you don't want to make Glyn angry because he's actually quite strong. Glyn also does, or for the time I've known him, he's been a avid trainer in cycling, kayaking, running, particularly good, triathlons really. Tell me about, for people that are doing that sort of stuff and the ketogenic diet, or just having a really full-on lifestyle, what can you expect? I mean, some of the All Blacks I know are now on the ketogenic diet. The trouble is they keep drinking a few beers and then they go out.
No, it's a fantastic question you ask, because when we've talked about endurance sport, we've always talked about carbo loading, haven't we?
Yeah,
as
You
the
used to
key.
do it when I used to live flat with you. You used to carbo load pasta the night before, heaps of it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that now, would you?
Nah, and I want to talk to you about a man I've met called Dan Plews.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Plews lives in Auckland.
Yep.
He broke the world record at Kona for Ironman
Okay.
for age group athletes, but for all age groups.
Oh, really?
Okay, so they organise it into 5-year age group categories.
Yep.
So he went faster than anyone has ever gone before,
Right.
in any age group. So the only thing that's excluded from that are the professional athletes. And he's not a professional athlete, he's a researcher and a
Right.
scientist and a lecturer.
Right.
So if you think the amount of time that he has to train compared with the professional athletes,
Absolutely, yeah.
significantly different.
Yeah, a lot less.
And if you look at his splits in the Ironman, if you look at the last 10 kilometres of the marathon in the Ironman,
Yep.
one person was going faster than him, and that was the winner of the professional event. So and he did that on a low carbohydrate, healthy fat diet. He used fasted training as his principle.
Mm-hmm.
So he would, like, for example, he'd do a 5-kilometre swim.
Yep.
And then he might go for a 2-hour run.
Yep.
And then he would eat something.
Yep.
So what he's doing is he's training his body to metabolize stored fat.
Yep.
And you have to teach your body to do that again.
Adapt
He'd effectively taught himself to be fat adapted. So when he gets into the race,
Mm-hmm.
this principle is called train low, compete high.
Yep.
So in the race, he has his carbs like everyone else, and you can use about 240 grams of carbohydrate per hour. That's about the maximum that your gut can handle.
Before you go out of ketosis?
No, that's about the maximum that you can intake.
Okay,
Because you take more than that in and your stomach can't manage it when you're exercising.
Gotcha, understood.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you think now he's like a hybrid engine. He's got all his fat burning going.
And he's got
on top of that,
the carbo loading.
So that's why at the end of the marathon, he was able to go faster than virtually everyone else. So there's all the professional athletes that have been training, let's say 30 hours a week, and getting their regular massages and their regular meetings with their sports nutritionist. And you think about those top international athletes in Ironman, that's all they do. That's what they live. That wasn't him. He was fitting his training in around his busy job, and there was only one person going faster than him. So the only difference, it's not his training, it's his diet. And he's like a hybrid engine. He's like the Toyota Prius. Toyota Prius is not really viewed as a cool car, but if you sit at the traffic lights next to a boy racer and you stick your foot down in your Toyota Prius and both the petrol engine and the electric engine come on together, you take off from the traffic lights.
No question.
Okay, and he had that dual engine, that hybrid engine going throughout that whole Ironman race. So the stuff that you're doing, walking around in the hills, and you don't know when you're going to stop.
That's right. No.
If your dogs take off, you're not going to say, "Well, I'm tired here. It's time for my rest," because you've got to be there with your dogs, don't you?
Yeah, all the time.
And you don't know when your dogs are going to come back either.
That's right.
So it's not like you can plan how you eat. You have to be fat adapted to hunt, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
You have to be fat adapted. You're very, very similar. Like I view a hunter very, very similar to an Ironman athlete. You're at the extreme end of performance, and if you've got a dual engine going, then you can go. And I imagine if you go out with someone who's not fat adapted, they will tire, and you don't tire, do you? If you've got to go for an extra 5 hours, you get tired and you're walking home, and then your dogs get onto a pig.
Yeah, which happens.
And you go, "Oh shit, I'm tired," but you've still got to go after the dogs, don't you? You can't call them back.
Absolutely. This is actually the difference with hunting with dogs and a lot of other hunting, because the pack are out trying to find the boar. You've got to stick with them. And before I was on the keto diet, I used to really struggle with that. I'd still do it, but I'd struggle. Today, there's no question I'm going to keep on going, and you will. And when I was staying with you in the Chatham Islands, that was a classic. Glyn and I were in the Chatham Islands together.
Oh, if anyone gets the opportunity to go fishing or hunting in the Chatham Islands or spearfishing, then the Chatham Islands, it must be what fishing in New Zealand was like before it was overfished, because the thing that got me, when you dropped a line over for blue cod, the sea was so clear you could actually see the bottom, and you put it down, instantly you've got a blue cod on, you wind it in, but there's one attached to the sinker as well. They're so frigging hungry
I know.
that they just attach themselves to the sinker, and you pull two blue cod up with one hook.
Oh no, it's crazy. So what I was getting to was on the Chathams, we had 7 days, and of course I was only there for 7 days, and I really wanted to get as much in as I could. So I had 1 meal a day, so I was practicing fasting basically, and I was hunting, diving, fishing, kayaking, pig hunting, running around, and I was getting everything to 7 days, just totally packed in, and I came home refreshed. I didn't come home tired, and I'd just gone hard. And some days we were getting home like 1 or 2 in the morning because we were out hunting, then we were up again at 5 because we had another mission to go on, and didn't really tire. And I think the keto diet, I could not have done that if I hadn't been on a ketogenic diet before. I couldn't have sustained it.
You couldn't have.
No.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. So Glyn is really, really, really fit. I took Glyn hunting probably 4 years ago, was it? We went up the back of the Abel Tasman then, and neither of us were in keto that day. And I think about that day, we're now 4 years older, and I know today, particularly, if we did it again on our diet, I feel, actually I know, I'm lighter, fitter, just because of the diet. I've done no more training. So one of my things is with getting fit is 80% diet, 20% training. And the guy you just spoken about illustrates that, because he had all that other work going on in his life, but still he was able to win.
But I do just want to clarify, so when we use the term keto, personally I do low carb, healthy fat.
Yep.
And I'm not always in nutritional ketosis.
Yep.
You're doing a full ketogenic diet,
Yep.
and you are probably most of the time in nutritional ketosis. So
Yep.
that's a little bit of a difference. So if I can just kind of put this into perspective, okay, there is no single person in this world that should be eating sugar. Sugar is a poison. No one should be having sugar. So each of us, whatever size we are, we've got 5 litres of blood. And in that 5 litres of blood, there should be less than a teaspoon of sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 grams of sugar, which is less than a teaspoon. So if somebody gets a teaspoon of sugar and sticks it in their coffee and drinks that, they've doubled the amount of sugar in their blood. Now, you name something else in your blood that you can double without dying. Okay, if you double sodium, you'll die. If you double potassium, that's called a lethal injection. That's how they kill people in the United States.
Right.
They
Potassium.
inject potassium. So if you doubled the amount of potassium in your blood,
Yep.
you would die. If you doubled the amount of water in your blood, you would
Right.
die. Why do we think that we can double the amount of sugar in our blood and everything will be fine? You double the amount of sugar in your blood and you die. You just die slowly.
Yeah.
Okay, no one should have sugar. So sugar and refined carbohydrates, and by refined carbohydrates I'm talking about highly processed carbohydrates. I'm not necessarily talking about brown rice. I'm talking about white flour.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's just gone. No one should have that.
So why is that? It's because it converts to sugar so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it breaks down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means people that, well, you could argue a lot of the world eats white rice. I mean, in Japan eats white rice, and they're healthy. The longest living people in the world are in Japan. Some of them, they eat white rice. So how does that work then?
Yeah. Can we come back to that question, because that is actually a complex and really interesting question.
Yep.
Let's just, can you park that?
Yeah,
And
I'll come back to that. Yep.
Okay, so nobody should have sugar and refined carbohydrates. Okay, that's a no-no.
Right.
Okay, the next step, we kind of come this way a little bit, and we're talking about low carb healthy fat. Okay, so by low carb I'm meaning basically have no sugar, have no refined carbohydrates,
Yep.
reduce your consumption of bread,
Yep.
or don't have it, reduce your consumption of root vegetables, or don't have it,
Okay.
reduce your consumption of fruit. So have plenty of berries. Berries are a low carb fruit.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm not saying, if you're on low carb healthy fat, I'm not saying never eat an apple. I'm saying just have them less often. I'm not saying never have a piece of bread, just have it less often. And I'm not saying never eat kumara or potato or carrots. I'm just saying have it less often. Okay, that's low carb. And by healthy fat, I define that as eating natural fats.
Right.
Okay, avoid industrial fats, avoid fats that have been processed. So
Right.
canola oil. Do you know there's no such thing as a canola
Yeah.
plant or
I
seed?
do, yeah.
It goes through a 20-stage industrial process, and then margarine's even worse. I don't even know what that is. It's some form of plastic
Yes,
or
plastic, yeah.
oil or something.
Yeah.
You know, so like those industrial oils, they are not natural oils. They've got to go. But a healthy natural oil, if you want to eat duck fat, go for it. If you want to eat the fat on the meat,
Duck fat.
go for it. What was that? What was the rendered?
That's what I cook with is leaf lard, which is rendered down kidney fat, which is around the pig's kidneys. If it's with beef, it's called suet,
Okay.
and with pigs we call it leaf lard. Highly valued, very high in omega-3,
Right.
which is the good one,
Yeah.
and just great to cook with. So for pastries, not that you have pastries if I'm keto, but that's what the chefs love in Europe.
Right.
They love that.
Can you remember the omega? Can you park the omega-3 too? Because I really want to talk about.
Okay, we've got you started now, boy. Oh, the omega-3.
But like, okay, so that's what we mean by low carb healthy fat.
Yeah.
And you might be reducing your carbohydrate to, let's say, 100 grams a day. And to reference that, I'm not suggesting you eat bread, but a piece of bread has 20 grams of carb.
Right.
So to be low carb healthy fat, we might be having over 24 hours the equivalent of about 4 to 5 pieces of bread as our total carbs for the day. All right. Then, as you come down this way, we're talking about keto.
Yep.
Okay, and keto, you're reducing your grams of carbs for a day to about 20.
Right.
and basically all the carbs that you'll get are from your green leafy vegetables.
Right, your broccoli and your broccoli? No?
Yeah, broccoli, of course. Cauliflower.
Yep, cauliflower's great.
Your spinach, your silver beet, your salad ingredients, and that's where you're going to get your carbs from. And one of the things I really want to emphasize is that a ketogenic diet is a plant-rich diet.
It is.
It is a plant-rich diet.
Yeah.
You're eating, you know, I look at you, you pile your plate up with spinach and lettuce, and you know, that's where you start, don't you? And you have a mountain. You know, it's not
a massive bowl. Yeah, six. I have about probably 8 to 12 cups of lettuce, and not just lettuce. It'll be like bok choy. It'll be spinach. It'll be watercress, which is a really good one, high in vitamin K. I'll have lots of kale. I don't like kale.
I don't really like
kale. I don't like kale, but I will do the baby kale because it's easier to process. Yeah. And that'll be the guts of it. But I love my meat, so I'll have bacon, and I'll have bacon that's. I'm actually now experimenting with cured bacon, which is just salt cured without so nothing other than just salt. And I love avocado, which I didn't used to. So the other thing with the keto diet is people go, what can I enjoy? Well, what happens is when you go onto it, after about 5 to 10 days, you start to enjoy stuff you've never enjoyed before. You start to, your taste buds change, everything gets sweeter. And you go, oh fuck, that's too sweet, I can't eat that now.
Yes, don't you?
Yeah, like, you know.
If someone offers you a piece of chocolate, which you don't really crave or want, but if you have it, it like almost burns your mouth.
I hate it. And all cravings disappear. This is how you know if you're in the right state or not. You know, I used to have shocking cravings. I used to eat a bag of snakes in a day sometimes.
Oh, don't say that.
Yep.
I don't say that.
Yeah. I'd eat a bag of snakes a day.
No, that's like pain. That's like stabbing me through the heart with a hunting knife.
Yeah. I did, man. And I was heading straight towards diabetes type 2. All the signs were there, and a lot of other health issues. So there's people that when they hear you talk, their filter's not going to hear what you're saying. There's people that aren't going to want to hear it. They're not going to want to face it. I had a gentleman come around the other day, quite obese. He's needing to have an operation. He can't have it until he has his weight down, but he's never going to get down because every day he has sandwiches for lunch, bread, which have got fuck all nutritional value, and it's just adding to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So
the thing, the point on it, I just want to make the point. People kind of picture the ketogenic diet as just eating fat. Okay, this is eating truckloads of vegetables and eating your meat, fish, and chicken as well. That's what it is. So, you know, it's not like we've got the vegan diet over here and the keto diet over here. It's not like that at all. They are both plant-rich diets.
Yep.
Okay, one uses plant protein and the other uses animal protein predominantly.
Yep.
Okay, that's the difference. But they are both full of leafy greens. They're full of salads. You know, so they're not at ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
They're very, very sitting beside. It's just, do you choose to use plant proteins or do you choose to use animal proteins?
Yep.
The reason that with keto we find it a lot easier to use animal proteins is because they don't come with the carbs.
Right.
If you think of chickpeas,
Yep.
that protein comes with more carbohydrate.
Right.
If you think of meat, the protein and fats aren't coming with the carbs.
Yep.
That's the reason. It's just easier to lower your carbs if you're eating animal protein, but you can still be vegetarian or even vegan and be ketogenic. Okay, that they're not at war with each other.
Right. Yeah.
They're sitting side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So for mums and dads, and I'll talk about New Zealand because it's our country. In New Zealand, well, you could say any country, but in this country here, for mums and dads that want to send their children to school with a healthy lunch, and then give them a healthy dinner when they come home, or give them a healthy breakfast.
So, just an example, I would start with an omelette. Okay, and in that omelette, chuck in everything.
Right.
Chuck in bacon, chuck in cheese,
right.
Chuck in mushrooms. Mushrooms are a fantastic source of magnesium, actually. A lot of people are magnesium deficient.
Yeah.
Basically, just whatever you can find, and have an omelette for breakfast, the perfect breakfast.
Yeah.
Because what you'll notice, if you have something like that for breakfast, you don't get hungry until much later in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, if you eat your Wheat Bix or your cornflakes,
Yeah.
you're going to be hungry again, what?
2 hours.
2 hours
2
later.
hours later, yeah.
Yeah, and really hungry.
Insulin's going to spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just a little bit hungry, you'll be craving.
You do, yeah.
You're going to have, you get hangry, don't you?
You get hangry. I like that. Do you remember, keep it, that you and I were in the Chams and we were hunting with a young guy, I won't say his name, and he would have to eat all the time, and I saw in him how I used to be. I used to get cravings every 2 hours. This all goes out the window of what you're saying. So that's breakfast. What are the kids, what's mum's going to put in their lunchbox? What are they taking?
Yeah. So a salad.
A salad?
A Tupperware, okay, and a salad. So you know how we usually go, put 2 pieces of bread down on the plate, then we open the fridge and go, what are we going to put on the bread?
Yep.
Okay, ditch the bread and put some salad greens in a bowl, open the fridge and go, what am I going to put on that? And anything, some cold mutton, you cooked an extra steak the night before,
chop it up,
your avocado, cheese, tomatoes, chuck it into the Tupperware, close it, and that's the ideal lunch. I stick a fork in. Okay, they come home that night and they'll be in pretty good mood because they've eaten well. They won't be sort of too hungry. They might not even be that hungry, or if the kids, they will actually, because their metabolism's much faster and they burn it pretty quick. So what would the evening meal be? So evening meal, meat, fish, chicken and veggies. So cauliflower is, it sounds weird, but whatever you used to do with rice or potato, do it now with cauliflower. So cauliflower rice, you know cauliflower rice.
We had dinner last night, yep, in the blender.
In the blender or grate it on the cheese grater, low tech, grate it, make it the consistency of rice and fry it, fried rice. Boil it, boiled rice.
Right.
Or the other thing that's really cool is just mash it with potato masher.
Yep.
Add your butter and your salt and pepper.
Right.
And it's kind of the equivalent of mashed potato. Yep. Now, in fairness, or this is my opinion anyway, it doesn't taste like rice or potato, but it's almost as good.
Yeah.
If I was outside of health and I just was going purely on taste, I think I would still choose the mashed potato over the cauliflower.
Taste-wise, yeah.
And I would choose the rice over the cauliflower rice, but it's almost as good.
Almost as good, I agree with that.
And it's, when you make a curry, it's not the rice that you're after, it's the curry, eh?
Yeah.
The rice is just there, So do that with cauliflower.
Yeah.
And another thing I think that's really important is leftovers. Leftovers doesn't sound sexy, but leftovers is cool because you put the most effort into your evening meal, generally, eh?
Yep.
So let's say you're just cooking for yourself at night.
Yep.
So put one plate down and then one Tupperware, serve your meal onto the plate and then serve the next one into your Tupperware, and that's your lunch for the next day.
Smart.
And it doesn't actually take any extra effort to cook 2 plates than it does one.
Right, yeah.
There's no extra effort to fry 2 steaks than to fry one, is there?
Absolutely.
So leftovers are fantastic. And then your question, what are the kids going to take for lunch the next day? It's all there in the Tupperware. Or chuck it in the omelette the next morning, some leftover steak.
Yep.
Chuck it in
I'm getting hungry just hearing you talk about it.
Oh, I'm not, because I'm in ketosis.
No, you had breakfast this morning and I didn't. You had an omelette this morning.
You haven't eaten anything.
I've eaten anything today.
So that's intermittent fasting,
That's what I do. I have 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
So talk about that and the state of autophagy that comes with it, and what people do. And while you're talking, I just need to go to the toilet. So can you keep on talking and can I keep
Well, why don't we take the camera and we'll just film in the toilet while you're going to the toilet.
I know you as a doctor would be okay with this, but I would be a little bit uncomfortable.
You'd be uncomfortable?
I'd be uncomfortable. I know you probably it's just the normal for you.
So
I'll let you
as you walk out the door,
Yeah.
I'm actually talking about intermittent fasting, but when you're out of earsight, I start telling some stories about when we were flatting.
Yeah. Okay, I saw the coffee I had this morning. I had a coffee. Okay, I'll let you carry on, and that's interesting.
So now that he's gone, let's have a few talks about what we did all those years ago. No, okay.
I don't know about you guys, but I really found that talk interesting. I listened to it again as I made the video, and I was drawn straight back into what Glyn was saying. Now, he's a GP, but he also didn't talk about some of his other things that he's done, and I won't go into that. I'll have another part 2 on Glyn and him talking about next fasting and the power of fasting and also how it's kind of weird to think that by not eating you actually make your body stronger and fitter and healthier and grow more neurons and purify and all the stuff he's going to talk about, which coming from a doctor will be a lot more believable than hearing it from me. Anyway, well done for making it right to the end of this video. I want to thank the patron who triggered the idea by arguing one of my videos. It's so good to question everything you come across in this life, and I believe that science is always ready to be wrong. All of us make mistakes as we go along, but it's about acknowledging them, moving forward, and discovering truth. I like the idea of discovering truth about our health. Hope you enjoyed it. Be good. Can't be good. Be careful. And I'll see you in part 2. Let me know if you didn't enjoy this and you think it's a boring waste of time. Let me know if we should carry on with them, because this is the first time I've put Glyn on the channel. I'm interested in your thoughts there. In fact, your thoughts will dictate, and the views will dictate whether we do a part 2. So let us know. See you later. The dogs that want to go for a run. Right, we're out of here.